Attention passionate Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Pittsburgh Steelers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Let's get to the news. Now folks, if you've been paying close attention to the Steelers this season, you already know that things are looking pretty intriguing. After all, the team has been riding high lately, especially after that exciting Week 4 victory over the Minnesota Vikings in Dublin, Ireland. That game was a real showcase of the Steelers' resilience and talent. And honestly, it's not just that win that's turning heads. What's really interesting is how the team has been managing to stay in the hunt and keep a solid roster despite some recent setbacks. But as always in the NFL, nothing stays static for long, and big news can come from anywhere, even from unexpected places like roster moves involving rookies. Right now, the Steelers are on their bye week, which is always a good time for players, coaches, and fans to breathe, reflect, and get ready for the final stretch of the season. But even during this pause, the NFL keeps moving, and the latest update involves one of the team's promising rookies, Sebastian Castro. Now, Castro wasn't a household name coming into the draft, but he's been a player to watch, especially after making a good impression during the summer. Undrafted in the 2025 NFL Draft, Castro was able to sign with Pittsburgh as a free agent, and from day one, he showed a lot of promise. The Steelers' coaching staff saw potential in him, and he's been developing behind the scenes on their practice squad, waiting patiently for his shot. Castro's story is a classic example of the NFL grind, an undrafted player who fights tooth and nail to make his mark. He's a safety, a position that's always critical in today's NFL, especially with the league's emphasis on versatile, ball-hawking defensive backs. Pittsburgh's secondary has been pretty solid so far this season, largely because of the depth and health of their core players. But that depth isn't unlimited, and when injuries happen, opportunities open up for those on the practice squad. And that's exactly what happened recently. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, struggling after their first loss of the season in Week 4 against the Eagles, found themselves in a bind. They lost some key defensive players, including safety Rashad Wisdom, who was injured and ended up on injured reserve with a quad injury. Now, losing a player like Wisdom hurts, especially in the secondary, which is already a position where injuries can quickly turn into major issues. So the Buccaneers saw an opening and made a move. They swooped in for Castro, signing him off the Pittsburgh practice squad to their active roster. This isn't just a roster addition, it's a statement about Castro's potential and how NFL teams are always on the lookout for talent, especially when the season is heating up. For the Steelers, this is a bittersweet moment. On one hand, you hate to lose a promising young player like Castro, especially when he's been working hard behind the scenes. But on the other hand, it's a testament to how much potential the organization saw in him, so much so that another team, in this case, the Buccaneers, recognized his talent and decided to give him a shot on their active roster. Now, it's important to emphasize that Castro's departure doesn't mean he was a starter or a key player for the Steelers this season. He was more of a developmental player, someone the coaching staff believed in and hoped to see grow into a contributor down the line. But in the NFL, opportunities can come suddenly, and for Castro, that opportunity is now with Tampa Bay. It's a chance for him to showcase what he can do at the highest level, and it's a reminder to all Steelers fans that every player, even those on the practice squad, can be called upon at any moment. This move also highlights the depth of the Buccaneers' defense, which, despite their struggles, still has talented players. They needed to bolster their secondary after losing Wisdom and others to injury. Castro, being young and raw but talented, fit the bill. Tampa Bay's decision to bring him up is a strategic move. They see something in him that they believe can help them fight through the season's challenges. And for Castro, it's a chance to make his NFL debut sooner than expected, and who knows? Maybe this is just the beginning of a bright future for him in the league. For the Steelers, this situation means adjusting quickly. They'll need to find a replacement for Castro on their practice squad, and continue to develop their roster depth. They've been doing a pretty good job so far, maintaining a competitive team even with some injuries and setbacks. Their defense, led by players like TJ Watt and Minka Fitzpatrick, has been a real strength, especially in the pass rush and secondary. But it's a thin line between a good defense and a great one, and losing a player like Castro, even if he wasn't a main contributor yet, is certainly a reminder of how important every piece is in this puzzle. Looking ahead, the Steelers' focus now shifts to Week 6, where they'll face the Cleveland Browns in what promises to be a crucial divisional matchup. The AFC North is always fiercely competitive, and every win or loss can shape the division standings in a big way. Pittsburgh will want to bounce back from their bye with a strong performance, especially after some of the recent injuries and roster moves. The Browns, for their part, have been showing flashes of their own, so this game is going to be intense. The good news for the Steelers is that, with a bit of time during the bye week, they can evaluate their roster and find a suitable replacement for Castro on the practice squad. They're a team that values development and depth, and this season has already shown that they can adapt quickly. The coaching staff, led by Mike Tomlin, has always been adept at making these adjustments, keeping the team competitive regardless of injuries or roster changes. And let's not forget the bigger picture here. The Steelers have a rich history of developing talent, from undrafted players to future stars. Castro's story might be just beginning, and it's a testament to how the NFL operates. Opportunities are fleeting, but if you seize them, you can make a real impact. For Pittsburgh fans, it's a reminder that every player on the roster is working towards that moment where they get to shine on the big stage. And even when they don't make it with the Steelers, their journey continues elsewhere, and sometimes that's where they find their true calling. In terms of season expectations, the Steelers are still very much in the mix for a playoff run. They've shown resilience, and their defense remains formidable. The offense, led by players like Kenny Pickett and their talented receiving core, has been steadily improving. The key to their success will be consistency and how well they can adapt to the inevitable injuries and roster shuffles. The AFC North is a tough division, with teams like the Bengals, Ravens, and Browns all vying for supremacy, but Pittsburgh has the talent and the coaching to stay competitive. This season is shaping up to be a real test of their resilience, especially with such a competitive division. The move involving Castro, while seemingly small on the surface, underscores the importance of depth and development in NFL success. It also highlights how the league's talent pool is always evolving, with opportunities arising for undrafted players who work hard and stay ready. For Steelers fans, it's a roller coaster of emotions: pride in the team's resilience, hope for the future, and anticipation of what's next. As we look to the upcoming game against the Browns, it's clear that every player on the roster, from the starters to the practice squad members like Castro, plays a vital role in the team's journey. The Steelers have a rich tradition of overcoming adversity, and this season is no different. They're a team that believes in building from within, trusting their scouting and development staff, and always striving for excellence. So, as we wrap up this update, remember that the NFL season is a marathon, not a sprint. Every roster move, every game, and every player story contributes to the bigger picture. The Pittsburgh Steelers are a franchise built on resilience, talent, and a deep sense of pride. They're in the fight, and they're not backing down anytime soon. Whether it's on game day or during these quiet weeks, the passion for this team remains as strong as ever. Steelers Nation, your team is always in the thick of things, and the best is yet to come. And now, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on Castro's move to the Buccaneers? Do you think it opens up opportunities for other young players on the roster? How do you see the team bouncing back from this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news. Thanks for sticking with us, and as always, keep the faith and keep cheering for the black and gold.